Okay, let's finish off this series, and it's getting dark, and so my lighting is not as great as it was, but I just want to go into the conclusion portion, and this should be a much shorter video. So here we go. Healing religious trauma through education and empowerment. Based on the research of Christian history, studying herstory, understanding religious trauma, having my own lived experience, and supporting other women through their religious trauma, I believe there are two paths towards healing from religious trauma. One is education on the herstory of early Christian movement. Learning the truth that women are not inherently unworthy or the root of all sin, but rather women were teachers, preachers, counselors, and healers in the early Christian movement leads to empowerment. Harvard theologian Megan Watterson, in her book, Mary Magdalene Revealed, love that book, by the way, references worth 32 times. This book guided me to remember my inherent worthiness through the works of Mary Magdalene. Watterson reminds us that we are not inherently sinful or unworthy in any way, and that we shouldn't feel shame for how human we are. In understanding the teachings of gospels omitted from the New Testament, we can reclaim our inherent worthiness. The Gospel of Mary teaches that there is no such thing as sin. That makes me want to cry when I first read that. When I first read that, it was so powerful because I had thought I was a horrible person pretty much my entire life. And there was like nothing that I could do to help it, no matter how good I was, that God would always want to condemn me in some way. So Mary 3:3 teaches us that there is no such thing as sin, taking away the power of church fathers who claimed that women were responsible for the origination of sin and restoring power within women. Understanding the influence of these early Christian texts that were so powerful that they were to be destroyed. Yet luckily for us, many of the works were hidden for 1,500 years, waiting to be discovered. I'm so grateful to the people who found the documents in Nag Hammadi and who found other early Christian texts that teach us that there was another way of Christianity, that teach us that we are not inherently bad, that God is within us, and that we are love. The second is understanding and healing of individual, ancestral, and collective religious trauma that has been experienced within patriarchal societies, especially those that are dominated or colonized by Christianity. So again, I'm saying there's two paths to healing. One is through understanding. It is through learning and unlearning. It is through finding out the hidden truths that will set us free, which I shared in these videos. But also the other way is that to take responsibility for our own healing. And as we take responsibility for our healing, we inherently heal the world. Okay, trauma is not resolved simply by leaving a religious group, or avoiding the religious tradition, because trauma shapes bodies into fight, flight, or freeze response. That is from Downey. Whew. Okay, so even though I left the Catholic religion, Christianity, in 2018, I still to this day work to heal some of the religious trauma that I experienced, and believing that with the beliefs that I was taught that I was inherently bad, or that something was wrong with me, or that I always had original sin, that this beautiful, natural, absolutely precious newborn could have original sin. It doesn't make any sense to me. And so healing those thoughts, healing that I deserve any sort of punishment, that I'm bad, so I deserve anything that isn't of love and of healing is just religious trauma. So, healing the negative fallout, including feelings of shame, and guilt, and fear caused by dysfunctional patterns from the church, is necessary. One must heal the shame, guilt, fear, and feelings of unworthiness that cause common emotional and mental health challenges. It is time for women to reclaim their body, mind, soul, and connection with divinity. Not a God outside of us, whom many have been taught to fear, but a love inside of us waiting to be discovered. It is through education and empowerment and giving a voice to our own story that herstory will finally prevail. It makes me want to cry. Okay, so moving forward, where do we go from here? Because that was so deep. I hope that you enjoyed learning about a different perspective on Christianity. It was pretty deep to go into that religious trauma, to understanding that shame and that guilt, the fear, the unworthiness. And if you're experiencing that, I invite you to get help. If you need any resources, please reach out to me. And so what I will say is that moving forward, I will be teaching from the Gospels, the Gospel of Mary, as well as from books from my academic journey. And then, of course, we don't really, so as I said, there's two ways. And one, we'll be learning from here. Also, I'll pull out the New Testament, which is by Hal Tassick. I just did that backwards, that's funny. And this is the New Testament. So what he does here is Hal gets together an entire community of academia, of religious leaders, of clergy leaders, and they put all the gospels that were found in Nag Hammadi, the canonical gospels, they put it all on the table, and they decide what gospels will be included. And in this is the Gospel of Mary, as well as gospels from the New Testament. The Gospel of Thomas is in here. And so I'll look to here as well to share things that you maybe haven't heard from the other gospels that have been hidden for 1,500 years. So there's that piece and that portion. And then there's also the portion of healing and really honoring how we feel, honoring our emotions, working with our guilt and our shame and our fear and our unworthiness, so that we can feel love, so that we can know that we are loved, so that we can experience this love that exists within and around us without shame, without needing to prove ourselves, without needing to do something for it, without believing that we are bad, just knowing that love is love and that love exists within us and that it is us. So that's what we'll be doing moving forward, and I'm excited to share this journey with you. Just kidding, I thought it stopped.